does it mean to belong? Close your eyes and think about where you belong.
In our pursuit of inclusivity, it is essential to recognize that true inclusion doesn't mean placing every student in the same setting, but rather embracing and supporting their unique needs. In the article, Inclusive and Equitable Teaching Practices, some important keywords are defined. Equality means that students are treated the same way and that differences are ignored. Equity, on the other hand, aims to ensure that all students have the same chances of succeeding in spite of their differences. Inclusion goes even further. It seeks to ensure that everyone has a place where they belong.
At W. Ross, students follow the same curriculum as the rest of the province as far as academics go, but they also teach an expanded core curriculum.
The expanded core curriculum are those 9 areas: orientation and mobility, independent living skills, compensatory access, Braille. Those are the areas that we focus on beyond the curriculum that provide full access to curriculum, but also to life.
I'm so used to having people like me around me. When I go off to college, I might be the only one who has a disability. The actual outside world is what the school helps you prepare for.
When students feel safe, seen, and supported, belonging becomes the heart of their success. This is why we must consider who integrated classrooms truly serve. Learning is not a one-size-fits-all, yet we often treat it as if it were. Instead, we should see exceptionalities not as divisions, but as bridges, opportunities to build community where shared resources unite rather than isolate. Ironically, placing students with special needs in mainstream classrooms often hinders rather than helps, setting them back both socially and academically. In contrast, specialized environments offer a foundation where they can embrace their needs, develop essential skills, and prepare for life beyond school. By honoring these differences and providing intentional support, we foster confidence, independence, and a true spirit of inclusion.
In her talk, entitled Hip Hop, Grit, and Academic Success, Dr. Bettina Love discusses the social and academic effects of having culturally relevant and sustaining pedagogy in her classes of Black and Brown students. She discusses how engaged her students become when, through hip-hop-based educational practices that see her students as having funds of knowledge, they can bring their full selves into the classroom to utilize and explore their hip-hop and cultural understandings. She also discusses the consequences that Black youth face when they are not met by culturally competent teachers.
And each one of those kids that are pushed into the criminal justice system, each one of those kids that are pushed in special education, each one of those kids that are pushed out of school, we have murdered their spirits.
The potential of Black or Afrocentric schooling is borne out by academic studies. This 2008 research report, commissioned by the Toronto District School Board, demonstrates the academic benefits to Afrocentric schools, facilities where pedagogy and content are tailored to Black students.
One example of a segregated school is the Anishinaabe Bemadzewin Cultural Healing and Learning Program created by Dr. Nicole Bell. This JK to grade 12 school welcomed students who lived off reserve in the Peterborough area. It operated from 2002 to 2006. It used a medicine wheel framework, starting the school year in spring and operating year-round with 2-week breaks in between each season. Some reasons why Dr. Bell created this school. Well, she noticed deficits in the abilities of mainstream provincially funded schools in meeting Indigenous students' needs.
If you want the life sucked out of you, just go to class.
And after operating for 3 years, in the evaluation, they noticed these successes. Many students shared relief of attending a school free of racism. There was high attendance. Students actually wanted to go to school. Students made efficient progress in academics and learning, and there was a restoration of cultural identity. Parents and teachers observed that students were more respectful to family members at home, were better able to manage emotions, were happier, calmer, and had increased spiritual awareness, and took more responsibility for actions and were more aware of boundaries and consequences. It's the segregatedness of this program that actually fostered inclusion and belonging and allowed these students to thrive.
Okay, everyone listen up. So we're going to want to work on weekend from the answer, the information in the story, okay? We're going to go ahead and test, factual tests, and try the actus test. Oh, test, your test. We're going to page, you gotta be.
Inclusion is more than just integration. It's about belonging. True belonging happens when students see themselves reflected in their learning. But when multilingual learners don't get the support they need, they struggle to connect, understand, and succeed.
And I think with programs like Welcoming Communities, they provide that support in a very normal, comfortable fashion. A child doesn't feel stigmatized going to Welcoming Communities. It's not like they feel there's a big red X on their forehead, there's something wrong with me. No, it's a group. I'm going to learn things. I'm going to talk with people. We may go on some outings. I'm going to have a mentor. I'm like everybody else.
Like PDSB, Halton District School Board runs the ESL Innovation Project, which is transforming how newcomer students integrate into schools. By using technology and pairing students with same L1 peers, this program provides social and academic support while ensuring first language development is valued, not erased. The result? A stronger sense of identity and confidence, and academic success.
To get to speak with someone who speaks my language is really nice, and I also get to talk to someone who I can relate with, who comes from my culture.
Research tells us that first language development supports second language acquisition. Yet Ontario's ELO policies don't even mention identity. Imagine if we took inspiration from these successful programs, if every MLL student had access to identity-affirming, cognitive-enriched learning experiences that didn't just accommodate them, but celebrate them. We need more programs like these that value multilingual and Indigenous perspectives, not just as a diversity checkbox, but as essential components of a rich and thriving learning environment. When students see their voices valued, they engage, achieve, and thrive. Because real inclusion isn't about making students fit the system. It's about reshaping the system to truly support them.
PSA make changes today. Be a brave daredevil, take action at every level. At the macro, policymakers gotta nose out. Allow grassroots people to make decisions, but provide funding to make real their visions. Roll out dough for specialized schools when needed, to keep our country's future well seated. Meso movers and shakers like board superintendents can be true transcendents if they work with parents and their dependents. Listen to families and teachers too to help students thrive in situ. Then the mini micro mainstream classroom. Teachers are dope, can keep pupils off the rope by teaching them skills to cope. Connect and consider, what's best for this kid? Is my classroom inclusive or do students feel stupid? Should they stay mainstream or get off the grid? Learn about your learners and alt programs available. Let parents and students choose the option most unfailable. Give families agency to make the final call, because one size does not fit all.